close. Oh, it's a little chip over the top. Hasn't been well read. The bounce is not favourable. And the 20-year-old Ellis Ship got it down. Not sure that was the right call, but you never know. Sometimes the rugby ball can bounce all over the place.
Yeah, I'd go anything in near the 22. If you're kicking, you've got to regain possession or score a try. That comes from the man that mentored me, Alan Solomons. And if you didn't do those two things,
just got to put it there quick.
Difficult to make the team the following week.
So it's definitely the right call. Now, Tini Burger is down at the moment. It's just a boot. Not a big issue. Former Free Stater, Martinez Burger.
Time is on.
It's one of the joys as well of being able to play in a competition like this. You get lots of game time. It's certainly the case for Tini Burger. Interesting drop kick that from the 22. It was taken miles behind the 22-meter line. Now Banda. So that ball is fine, no problem. It wasn't carried back into the 22. I'd like to see him steady himself a little bit more before he executes his kick. He's running too fast when he kicks. It's hard to control it then. Just slow down a little bit. Almost to a little bit of a walk and then make your mark. Good solid ball that for the Dragons from the line out. They've had so little possession. And that's a really good playmaker as well in Jack Dixon at inside centre. This is Landman. Partnering with Joe Davies tonight.
Got it, Black has got it!
That's a turnover. That's brilliant play that from the Southern Kings.
Michael Willemse.
Now for the second time.
Holding.
Nothing like a captain who leads from the front.
Well, he's taken a battering in this opening quarter, hasn't he?
Right on his feet.
Second turnover, and he got a few smacks on the head for that.
I think what he's probably saying to the guys is, you know what, there's a bit tough that, but it's a hell of a lot better than getting wet in the ice and snow. Newport.
Much better. It's not 2 degrees with sleet and rain. Oh, quality work, Michael Willemse, second of the evening.
Must have just taken a little knock there. Rob, you played a lot of rugby in Europe as well. What's the coldest that you played in?
1 degrees in Ravenhill, old Ravenhill, Belfast. Kind of when you run onto the field, you're cracking the ice in your studs and you rub deep heat on the toes to keep them warm. Lovely out there, Gav.
Frightening. Oh, Adams managed to get the tap and keep the possession. Here's Stefan Greef. Youngster from Gill College in Somerset East, which is just up the road from Port Elizabeth for our international viewers. Willemse with the offload to Martin du Toit. That ball's been spilled forward. So, Rob, you actually made the point early on when I asked you about what the Kings need to do, and as you said, sort of hold on to possession as well, control the ball a little bit better. Little things like this can upset your rhythm.
No, it can. It almost makes it a little bit more despondent because putting so much effort in and not really getting the return. And you know, they mentioned that 3 points they could have taken instead of the second scrum. Probably the right idea at that time, considering the amount of phases they had been through.
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, look at the Dragons. I mean, they've missed 7 tackles. I think if you look at the overall stats, you know, the Kings in the last game they missed 51 tackles. So against Leinster, which is not a good stat. So they're coming off a really huge loss, and it's good to see that, you know, there's encouraging play from them in this match.
So, gents, I'm not going to guess. Not taking guesses, yeah? It's up to you guys now. Work with me. Get the height.
Let's go, bro. Let's see him again. Good work.
No. Reloading, please.
Harrison Kitty on the side of the Dragons scrum just saying, good boys.
Yeah, it's
Some more of that.
Quinton Himmelman refereed their game against Benetton a couple of weeks back. That's the Dragons. A number of penalties went against their scrum, particularly for overextending and going down, cranking on the loose head's arm.
Set.
Well, that's a better scrum all round.
Yeah,
Use it. Ball is in the back.
Held at the back by Lewis Evans. Babos. On the right wing, Ashton Hewitt's had virtually no possession in this game.
9 offside. 9 Kings.
Yeah, it's always a tough call, eh? Warren Gous on that occasion.
Gav, they've got to clean up that law, to be honest with you, because a lot of the time the ball is out. And yes, you are playing the scrum off, but the ball is in such a position that you should be able to play it if their scrum off isn't.
Well, then play the ball, not the scrum off.
He's pretty much his hands are on it. They've got to clean up the law, in my opinion. I do agree with not playing the scrum off, bring your hands over and putting him into rucks, 100%. But if the ball is in a playable position, the scrum off is not biding his time. Oh, have a crack.
Then play the ball there then. leave the scrum off, dive for the ball then. Well, the Dragons, without a surfeit of possession, won't be happy with the fact that that's just limped into touch. Zane Kirshner in picture. Born in George in the Southern Cape, up the road.
On the line. That's yours.
No, just execution, letting them down. They're trying to play the game at a hefty pace, the Dragons.
Just 5 men in this Kings line out. Quick delivery to Martin du Toit. Tini Burger is the target man to carry it down the midfield. Defensive work, despite those 7 missed tackles, has been pretty good from the Dragons. Here's Michael Makasa. Oh, he's an exciting runner with the ball, and he's done really well. How well has he done now? Here's the pop pass.
Hard against the head.
Well, in a position where you literally should have scored, the Kings are now have had to limp backwards. Quickly out of the hands there. It was a good pass that to Fulmink. Well, surely there's a knock on there somewhere along the line. Plenty of excitement if you're a neutral.
Yeah, Michael Willems, I think he might be right.
Just step back there.
He's questioning. He slapped on. I think he might have a point. Lovely play. Koi Banda, so difficult. Over the top, the little basketball pass. Makasa does extremely well. Through the contact. And you said, Gav, yeah, you should be finishing it off. The pop pass just not going to hand there. Tibanda would have got over, but there's the miracle pass. No need for that. On their line, behind the defence. Just a quick recycle, easy enough try.
Support the body weight. That's what I'm asking you from you guys now. Okay. So get the message clear over to the guys. On the set call, get the body weight higher. Support the body weight.
So I disagree with that. He's got to chat to both sets of front rows. If he's talking about body weight and ensuring that both sides don't go to ground on the engagement.
You guys are not doing it at the moment.
It might be an answer to a question from Willems. I'm not too sure about that, but I agree with you that ultimately rather call them together and say, guys, scrums are not functioning properly. These are the issues I've got.
We see it again. Koi Banda over the top. Michael Makasa. Strong in the tackle. Stays on his feet. And just right at the end, yeah, a little pop to Koi Banda. He should have been calling for it. He's quite a quiet fella, Banda. But that pass shouldn't have gone over the top.
Same again, yeah? Okay, we'll get close. Same discipline now.
Time is on.
Good pictures now, good pictures. Boys! Let's go, let's go. Go on, Rona.
So,
Seconds. Go on, seconds.
Dixon off the field at the moment, and he's been replaced by Connor Edwards. So
Crouch.
that's one of the key things as well. He's Jack Dixon rather, at inside centre is a really useful rugby player. So it looks like his cause is over. And the Kings' defence has not yet been sorely tested because they've basically had all the possession. Now, can the Dragons take this through a few phases and put pressure on them?
From the leg, play on.
Referee very quick to say play on. No knock-ons there.
Call for accidental offside, which I think it might have been, came off the knees of the player.
So Dorian Jones with the kick down. Now Makasa got lots of time. And here's Banda. Certainly no running opportunity for them. He's really given that a good thump. But it's not out. Long pass from Dan Babos. This time a kick downfield, and Banda, well, he's got such good hands. He's got such good hands normally.
Normally, yeah.
Okay.
Just the error
So
creeping
say
in.
again, 2 Kings.
Probably took his hands off it. Oh, sorry, took his eyes off it at the last moment. Yes, he did.
2, Captain. We play this game with
I'm sure that
victory and
one can
discipline.
understand for Dion Davids how frustrating that is, because it's the basic things, Robin. I think you were talking about them early on. To win matches, you have to execute well, you know.
The small errors that as that is creeping, and just gives the opposition 5 more opportunities in that case.
So let's see if we can have a decent scrum.
Mind. Set. 3 overextended, 3 Kings overextended.
Well, elbow down, overextended. Is there a bit of a guessing game going on, Gav? You got Schalk Ferreira and a very much on the 5-metre line of the Dragons for elbow down. You said Sam Hobbs has had one for his elbow down. This is the far side of the scrum.
Leadership now. Good throw in from him. Now, can the Dragons, who are very well united from that line out, carry this upfield? Babos. This time on to Ollie Griffiths, Welsh International. Pick and go it is from the Dragons. Jones. So this is really for the first time in the match that there is a real test here on the Kings' defence. Babos with Davies and Luntman. Luntman the carrier. Lewis Evans through the hands. Jones. Now, can they find some space here? This is Hewitt. He can be a tricky customer, but he needs a bit of space to move in.
Your own man, that's your own man. You're off.
Evans, lovely little pop pass. Yes, Jones, and they've broken the barrier.
Superb offload on the ground. Gets Dorian Jones over for the first try. All the points in his bag so far in this game. Sustained pressure, but it took a little bit of magic off the floor. You'll see it right here. Strong tackle coming in the tackle. He gets it away. Jones goes under, pretty much underneath the posts. The Dragons have their first try of the game.
Thank you.
Well, plenty of phases that was carried through. They built it up. And Jones with the conversion of his own try. So all the points for the Dragons from Newport belonging to Dorian Jones.
Have a look at that offload again from the ground. Lewis Evans, the captain, gets it away to Jones. Try time for the Dragons.
They
Well, that's a real punishing blow at this stage of the match with the amount of possession that the Southern Kings have had. It must have really lifted their spirits, but their failure to put points on the board will be worrying them more than anything else right now. Babos with the kick downfield. Banda. Well, the little fellow's done well. Just made sure he held on to it. Give Schalk Ferreira an opportunity to carry it forward. And then Tini Berger. Kings were slow to ruck in that situation, and they've given away their opportunity.
Play the ball, one, Kings. You've got to be on your feet if you want to play the ball.
Got to have more players getting to the ruck a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and then if you're going to pick and go through the middle, they need some support in behind. Just not getting the rub of the green here, the Southern Kings.
On the 15.
So Dorian Jones making sure of his touchdown kick, bearing in mind, of course, for many of these players, it's a first up,
Now you can see taken by Tini Berger. Not too many people in support. And some strong work over the ball from the Dragons. But you mentioned that Calvary not there in time.
Babos, Jones. A little run around. Hewitt now. Nagadi customer.
He's a handful. Yo.
Landman this time with the offload and not the carry. Smart play from the lock forward. See, they really are trying to stretch the Southern Kings defense to try and find a gap somewhere along the line. Oh, big kick downfield here from Kirshner. Well, it's not such a big kick because it's gone straight to Fulming. Lovely little inside pass. Now, which is the direction to go in? They're going full tilt too with a carry from Laram. Guy not carrying the ball's got to get himself into a position where he can take a pass. Good work from Burton Clarkson. Yeah, Detroit. I think that's a cross kick, but it hasn't really worked that well. A little bit too high. Didn't allow for an opportunity of surprise.
Michael Williams with the turnover.
Number 3 for him, the captain. Stefan Kreeft driving in.
No.
Now the long pass. Clarkson. Again, a very good idea. It hasn't really worked that well for the Kings, or maybe it still will. There's Banda now.
Backwards.
Well, luckily that ball went backwards, so it's a chance for Gijs to make a call here. Again, Latham asked to do a lot of work from the number 8 position. Berger. That's good work from Berger. Continuity with a quick supply as well. Now Detroit, that's a thumping tackle on him. In the 22, desperately needed that by the Dragons. Again, it's Banda in the back line. Pick up from Latham. Bobby DeVee caught ball and all. Well, it's the same position that the Kings were in a few minutes ago. The difference, one hopes for the Kings' sake, is that they get some points on the board. Close. This time Velindlu been a little bit quiet in this match so far. Now Nsila, also a tough customer. Change of tactics there, maybe a wise one too, to open up a little bit of wider space for the Kings. Here comes Berger, but he's lost it.
Lock on.
As the rain comes teeming down,
3 red offside.
they're going to get a penalty here and an opportunity to get on the board.
So much better from the Southern Kings. A bit of continuity, a bit of sleight of hand. Tini Berger over the line, and he unfortunately spills it forward. Quick ball coming in. Tini Berger, have a look at this.
What you guys doing, Kings?
Just dislodged in the tackle. Raymond Longman.
Having a shot.
Gav, as you mentioned earlier, I think the 3 points the better option.
Time is on. 6.
Kurt Coleman's coming onto the field as a replacement.
Going for the line out,
Okay, let's
Gav.
do vigilant now, guys.
Well, they've changed an option then, so it's Martin du Toit who's coming off. I think he's taken a few knocks in this match as the fly half.
There's no question that it's been physical from both sides, particularly the Dragons on defence coming up very quickly.
Rain teaming down is line out the best option. It hasn't been the most secure for the Kings, but they managed to hold on to this one. Now Willemse waiting for it along with Scott Ferreira. It's Willemse himself with the carry. Good work from the captain. And what a run that Valenlu. We saw a channel run from him earlier. He got the angle right. And a man is very difficult to bring down if you get that right. Lovely play by the centre.
And the quality of the try is a man coming at pace on a reverse angle. The Dragons, they don't give up their defensive line easily. Valenlu, he's found a crack. Lovely pass from his come off Ron Coase, but it was the line he came and the pace that he came that set it up. Let's have a look here. A little bit of go forward, beautiful line under the post. Southern Kings finally get some reward for all of that possession.
So Kurt Coleman's first touch is essentially the conversion, and not the most difficult one that he's ever kicked. Right up front. Then I guess there's a little sense of relief as well that A, there are points on the board, B, that the decisions we've been taking close to their line have finally paid off.
The pace, the line, sublime. From Valenlu, really, really good. Yeah, big smile, and he deserves it. There's no question. He's won actually a few of them in this game so far. He's got over the advantage on majority of them, despite some big hits coming in from this Dragon side.
He's a thinking rugby player, and I like that. You know, he's actually good vision, looks at the space, finds that he needs to run an angle onto a soft arm of the defender, and absolutely slides through. Wonderful try. Bunda. Brought down by Ashton Hewitt. Well, the timeline shows around about 5 minutes to the interval, and the Kings want to try and make sure they can get away from their 22. The most susceptible area, one feels, as far as they're concerned. Just that rain actually came down quite heavily, Rob, but it seems to have disappeared again.
Just enough to put a bit of grease on the surface, Gav.
So Ellis Ship now. Got Luntman in the middle there, along with Joe Davies. But the target is, in fact, Harrison Keddy. Some tall fellows in this Dragons pack. They were telling me a little bit earlier that they've signed 16 players for next season, so some of them are really top players too.
A guy like Ross Marathi, huge signing.
Yeah, so they're going to certainly potentially be a force to be reckoned with. Now quickly through the hands and into a little bit of space, not a lot. Perhaps enough to work with. And plenty of men. Kirshner in at fly half. This is Joe Davies. Change of direction. And then Zane Kirshner said, I'm not standing at the back, I'm going to get involved here. Let's try and find a way through if we can. This time it's Jared Rosser brought down from the left wing. Luntman. Babos. Lewis Evans quickly through his hands, and slowly but surely they work their way towards that goal line. Critical for the Kings not to give away any points. Well, there's a penalty advantage against them. Babos.
One Kings offside. Thanks, JD. Having a shot at goal.
Yeah, right choice, shot at goal.
Yes, Shawnee.
Just extend that lead.
I think sometimes you look around the field and you see a few of your players on their haunches and you say, okay, let's kick a goal. We've got a few tired fellows
They've
out
had a
there.
bit of trouble. It's been rather chilly over in the UK in recent days.
Captain, can we get these players back? We're not wasting time.
The number of times when they clean right over the ball, under 50.
Okay, sweet. I'll have a look for you. Sure.
Michael Williams checking with the referee or suggesting that there are players that are going off their feet in the clean out. As we know, Dorian Jones wastes no time at all, and he's got another 3 points. So essentially it's Dorian Jones 13, the Kings 7. Disappointing that one feels as well for Scott Pereira to be caught offside there. He's a very experienced player. But good pressure from the Dragons, one's got to say.
No, good continuity, taking the ball through phases, and to hold particularly Glasgow at home to a draw is a very good effort. It's a number of internationals in its side, regardless of whether they're playing Six Nations or not.
Close. Now Banda, little step, lovely running with the fullback, a chip and chase. He doesn't get the bounce initially, but does he get it after that? Yep. Referee says no problem, and that's the magic that this little fullback can bring to the game.
He's made a few errors, there's no question. He's got Dion Davids angry, but I think this one almost brought a smile to his face. So a little bit of magic from Koi Banda. Individual brilliance. Back on the inside, he's a nifty fella. He's got a lot of meters gained. A chip over the top. Maybe an error just coming in. The first one from Ashton Hewitt of the game. Knocks it back. Dancing ball into the hands of Banda. Try time for the Southern Kings and an opportunity to go ahead for the first time in the game.
Yeah, ultimately a favourable bounce. Fortune favours the brave, and the little chip kick over the top has worked in his favour. So Coleman could actually take the Kings into the lead into half-time if he gets this kick over. Well, they're going to go into half-time in the lead, are the Southern Kings. They worked furiously during that half with much disappointment, but they've managed to score a try, ultimately through some magic from the fullback, Masi Banda. The chip, the chase, the favourable bounce, and then a converted try, which gives them a 1 point opportunity going into half-time. He has just got such good steps, has Banda. And the lucky bounce, and down she goes. And they'll be really pleased as well with the fact that they got 2 tries in that first half, the Kings, to the 1 try of the Dragons. The Southern Kings 14, the Dragons 13.
Official Guinness Pro 14 Fantasy Rugby game by signing up Pro 14.
as expected. It's a very tight match down here at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, with the Southern Kings fortuitously at halftime leading by 1 point with a try on the stroke of halftime. And they struggled to beat the defense of the Dragons. They had plenty of possession in this match, did the Kings, but the Dragons' defense held really well.
Side entry.
And then first up, they gave away a penalty on the halfway line. Dorian Jones wastes no time with his kicks, slotted it over, absolutely no problem. A great kick from the fly half, and the first points then went to the Dragons. Well, the Kings kept fighting, but things were not always going to go their way. And there was some good running as well from Masi Banda on various occasions, and Michael Makasa on this occasion shrugged off the first tackle. And the Kings might feel, when they have a look at the video, that they should have desperately scored, or should definitely have scored in that situation. But have a look at the turnaround that came from that too. And then the Kings were under enormous pressure in their own 22. The ball was well carried, and Dorian Jones, the opening came for him.
The offload from their captain, Lewis Evans, a quality one, getting through 2 tackles and managing to get the offload through. It's time for the Kings. Absolutely beautiful line, some continuity for them going forward. And just spilling it over the line. Unfortunate for Tini Berger, but the opportunity to take the 3 points. Line up from the Kings, not going quite according to plan. You're going to see a lovely line from Valindu. Off the next phase of play, Mikey Willemse, he's worked and toiled hard throughout this first half. But the pass and timing of the run, Ron Kroos into Lezuko Valindu, and over he goes for the Southern Kings.
Well, the Kings found themselves back in their 22 and under all sorts of pressure. It was Schalk Ferreira that was caught in an offside position. And eventually, when they didn't manage to get through the Dragons, they came back for the penalty. And there was a knock-on, and Dorian Jones, with the blink of an eyelid, just slapped it over for their next 3 points. So the Dragons maintained their lead all the way up to close to the end of the first half. And then a little bit of magic was needed, and it came from the fullback, Masi Banda. Lovely little step, a chip from him, and he'll count this as a favourable bounce, but he got the all-important try.
Fortuitous bounce for Koi Banda, but he's got the try. The important kick was nailed by Kurt Coleman to take him into the lead at half-time. Tackles made, so many more by the Dragons. They've been very abrasive in what they've done. 20 missed tackles from them. A number of those on Banda himself, who scored their try. The turnovers of 1 would be a concern, as are the penalties conceded for the Southern Kings. 78 carries, they would expect more return on that investment from their possession. But a game on our hands going into the second half.
Welcome back to the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. We've got a game in our hands here with the Southern Kings 1 point in the lead against the Touring Dragons from Wales. Support as well of some players loving it here in South Africa in their shirt sleeves.
It's always good to see the travelling supporters, and chatting to a few of the lads, Kerry Jones, their forwards coach, a few of them staying over after this game. They've got a 2-week break before the next one, so a couple of the South African lads will take them on safari and the likes. Kerry Jones also played a number of games for the Sharks, so he's up to Durban to visit a few of his old mates.
Rob, you were analysing those stats at half-time there. A lot of tackles made by the Dragons, who didn't have the possession, of course, that the Kings had in the first half.
Just a return on investment, 264 metres to just the 14 points, 81 for 13. Every time they've gotten to opposition 22, they've come away with points, the Dragons.
So that has been the difference. It took a long time for the nut to be cracked by the Southern Kings in the Dragons 22. There's Michael Makasa, who had a really good clean run and an opportunity in that first half. So the Kings will be mindful of the fact that they got up close on occasions.
Just the sound technicians on that side. This has helped JD. Something's wrong with his car. Not yours, JD's.
And unfortunately, a couple of knock-ons from them. One from that man in picture there, Masibanda. A little bit disappointing for the Kings.
Well, good to go.
But they know they're in here with an opportunity. Playing 80-minute football is critical in Play 14.
Dragons.
Can they play a competent 40 minutes? The Dragons will be asking themselves the same question as Dorian Jones gets the second half underway. Saw a lot of carries from the Southern Kings number 8, Laram, in the first half. Change at scrum half as well. Godlin Masimla is on. That's confident play that. Now Coleman sees an opportunity. He's done well here, has Coleman. He's got through now. He's got to look for Makasa. Can they start well here? Oh dear. Well, it's worked out. It's worked out. Velindlu is going to get number 2.
Velindlu in with a try. Kurt Coleman, what a difference he has made. Critical conversion before half-time, and this time cracking open again the code in defence of the Dragons from the kickoff. It almost looked like they got it all wrong. Defence came up very quickly, some slick handling. Velindlu with his second, but a lovely run from Kurt Coleman. Here we see it again, lots of pressure, some slick handling in difficult conditions. Coleman sees a little opening, he managed to get through the gap, and now it's all about decision making. He had Michael Makasa, the fly on the outside, he goes back on the inside, taken by Velindlu behind his back, in for the try. Southern Kings get their second.
So Coleman from slap in front, looking for his third conversion and getting it. That's a really good start to the second half. What a magnificent try. We were worried that Coleman had butchered it with his pass.
Yeah, I think Velindlu was slightly overrunning it. He's cracked on the afterburners, perhaps a little early, but lovely hands to take the pass. Under the post he goes, and see Godlin Masimla's on, gives him a little pat on the back as he goes over.
Is a sub on? Thank you.
So an 8-point lead it is now for the Kings. And Sila with a catch. And the carry. Held up there by Luntman. Masimla over the top. And this is a good chase this from the Kings. Well, Michael Willemse unable to get past the defenders to make an early tackle. Now, will the Dragons get more possession in the second half? I think that's key to a victory for them. Luntman. Banda well positioned. I think that's a pretty good kick from the fullback. Tight angle that he had. He's up to the halfway line.
It's amazing what just a little bit of confidence can do going into half-time with a chip over the top. Yes, fortuitous bounce. It just gets all those planets aligned.
So Ellership now with the throw in. Good line out that for the Dragons. And a lovely little run around too has opened up a little bit of space. But that's good defensive work as well by Makasa. Just closed off the opportunity of running wide. Jones. Now Ship. Lampman caught by Tini Burger on this occasion.
Release now, release. Thank you.
Oh, the kick downfield is a high one. Up onto Anthony Folmink. And I think that's been knocked on by Bunda, to be honest, but the referee will allow play to continue. The Dragons with the possession. I think we might well see a lot more of Zane Kirshner as well into the back line in the second half if they can get a decent amount of possession, the Dragons. That's good defensive work that by the Kings. They got up very quickly onto Jared Sage.
Fine. Turnover's good.
It's turnover. Scholz. Player's not sure who to pass it to. Now eventually it's Bunda. He's kicked it well into space. And there's a huge chase here from Folmink. Back for Ashton Hewitt.
Right on.
And Clausen right up there too, but it's been protected by the Dragons. Counter-rucking this time from the Kings. The referee's got no problem with it. Well, here comes Bobby DeVee. A pop inside. And who else but Ron Laram.
Confidence coming back into the Southern Kings side. They can sniff perhaps their first victory. Ron Laramie has been tireless today. A lot of good effort gone in from him and from Bobby DeVere. The counter-rucking's good on the side. A little bit isolated. Folmink literally does very well. Knows his laws. Waits for the player to get back on his feet. Clausen's in there to help. And you can see Bobby DeVere. First the counter-ruck coming in from Kreef. Ron Laram just going over the top, rucking his way through. Bobby DeVere snatches it up back on the inside to Laram. Try to the Southern Kings.
Yeah, just brilliant counter-rucking that. It really just put all the pressure back onto the Dragons, who'd actually done quite well up to that point, but didn't have enough players committed at that breakdown.
Watch the off the ball stuff, please. Just it's a call from the sideline. Neck roll over there.
Yeah, just remember the neck rolls and then we'll pick up. We've got a team out for that. That's cool.
It's 4 out of 4 tonight for
earlier, Gav. He's been shepherded out the way. Yes, the ball pops into the hands of Bobby DeVere. The try is scored, the conversion's taken. But if you were a Dragon supporter, you might question the fact that the scrum half was taken out of play.
So the Dragons know that they are 3 scores behind right now. Coleman straight down the middle of the field on this occasion. Now Kirshner. The trademark up and under of his onto his opposite number, Bunda. Now the Kings haven't managed. They've held onto it on the ground and they've been penalised.
I'll tell you what, this Lichter and Landman has had a mammoth game. 15 tackles so far. He affected that one again. for the Dragons. And some big work going in from him and from his mate in the 6th jersey, Harry Keddy.
Okay, get him off now, it's fine. We're 7. Off 7.
So a couple of changes made by the Dragons too, pretty soon after half-time. You see that Aaron Wainwright is on the park. Of course, Max Williams is there too, so
To the back.
some fresh legs then for the Dragons. They need an onslaught here, and they need to ideally get some points on the board. 14 points against them in
Once!
8 minutes in the second half.
Use it! Use it! Use it! Use it!
Babos
Thank you.
told to use it now. Where does that kick go? Well,
6 black offside.
they knew that there was a penalty advantage, so there's another kicking opportunity at goal if they choose to do that. Dorian Jones waiting for the ball. It looks like they're going to pursue the line out option.
Transfer to the back. A good sack, you got to use it then.
No, there's no question he's offside. Of course, they were told to use it numerous times. It's got to come a time and place when it is used.
This is a big test of character here for the Kings. Can they defend their goal line? They haven't been able to do that to date when the Dragons have got down there. Now the big drive coming from the Welshman.
Use it once.
It's in motion, and Lewis Evans with a carry.
Obstruction.
There's obstruction there.
8
A
Dragons.
change of lanes there from Lewis Evans. The Kings have not been shy to run the ball from their own 22. They've got some quick guys. Bunder's kick downfield. Just managed to get it in. There's a big chase coming as well. It looks like the Kings are very hungry. They're over the ball and they've won the penalty. They're putting pressure on the Dragons at the breakdown points.
Quick tap from Godwin Masumna. The Kings playing with a lot more freedom this time round. Let's got that lead on the board that they have at the moment. And now New Zealand makes amends for the error he might have made on their line. Gets the turnover.
Having a shot to goal. Changing lanes. Guys in front of the ball carrier, changing lanes. Obstruction.
Kirshner back for a great tackle coming in from Michael Makasa. Masumna's there as well, but have a look at Andy Nsila right over the ball. Good body position. He's got his hands in it. Turnover to the Southern Kings and the penalty for posts.
And the benefit from slap in front. And this to push the lead up to 18 points. It's been a remarkable start in the second half by the Southern Kings. Some people might be saying where they've been all season. First penalty goal of the night then for Kurt Coleman to go with his 4 conversions. And it's very much game on here. Can the Dragons drag themselves back into this match?
They haven't had much to dance about this year, but they're on their feet at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. A lot of work for the Dragons to do.
Dorian Jones going short this time. Up for it and Silla. That's a knock on. So the referee playing advantage. Now the Dragons. Again, the Kings find themselves in their 22. Kickoffs are so vital as well to try and retain possession. Babos onto Lampman. Again, Babos. Can they find their way through here? Crucial for them to try and get a try if they can. Max Williams with some solid work. on as well is Lloyd Fairbrother. I didn't pick him up. Prop forward for the Dragons. Now this is where the Kings can be really dangerous too. If they move the ball down their line, they've got some really quick players. Advantage over, says the referee. So Coleman's kick was not the best. Here's Hewitt. A little bit of space for Kirshner. Brought down by Bunda.
Leaving 15!
Well, if nothing else, this game has been extremely exciting. Plenty of action as well. Lots of good running rugby from both teams. Fairbrother. Babos. Good channel run that. Still they come.
Right time!
Now Babos, he's got his captain Lewis Evans in delivery right now. Quick pop pass there to Gerard Ellis.
Not held.
Is a try going to come here? Somewhere along the line for the Dragons. They really will welcome it if it does. No, it's not going to happen. Knock on from them.
Scrambling defence from the Southern Kings. And the error coming from the Dragons. Too many of those creeping into their game in the second half. And so much more possession that they have at the moment.
He's got the captain down of Kings.
Just not quite getting it to hand.
Of course, one of the important things now, Rob, too, is that old adage of not defending a lead. The Kings have got to continue playing in a positive fashion.
Knock on Kings ball.
So look at that, 75 metres made. Beaten defenders as well. Some good carries from the fullback. Confirmation that rugby is a sport that can be played by any size. Not the biggest fella. He certainly has brought this game alive.
Their ball, they've been quite good on your ball as well. So, let's this area.
Yeah, and good captaincy is needed as well at times like this.
Simon's on.
So the Kings will want to stand steady here. They've got the put in. Allow them to have a decent exit from here.
Bind. Can you please square up?
Christian against Gerard Ellis there. Big 120 kilogram man and loose head this evening as a replacement.
Yeah, they haven't lost much weight with the replacements coming on. Perhaps added a few.
Yeah, Rob, I always think of you when you said your fighting weight when you were playing was 105 kilograms. Wonderful. Must have been technically absolutely adept. Now Coleman. That's a very good kick that from Coleman. Up to the 10-metre line. Been pressed into business tonight from the replacement bench at a relatively early stage, and he's done a really good job.
He's had some work to do since he's come on.
Yeah, they take it up.
The Dragons are just the one line-out that they've lost. The line-outs have worked pretty well. It's just the scrums that have been a bit edgy at times.
Let's get in, please. We're not wasting time.
Now that line-out was the very first of theirs of the game, so
Adjust.
they've corrected the errors.
So Ship, target man Joe Davies.
Fine, fine.
The Dragons have got to start winning the battles at breakdown time, and it's been unfortunately their Achilles heel in this match at times. Babos. Now Kirshner. Change of direction with a little bit of a tipple there for Lloyd Fairbrother.
So isolated.
New man on the field, Dries van Schalkwyk over the ball. What was the Southern Kings problem in the first half and getting numbers to the breakdown, and the Dragons have erred on this occasion.
holding 16 Dragons.
Now, Kurt Coleman has got a pretty fine angle to work with, but he'll be wanting to try and get this into the 22 of the Dragons.
There's Kirshner just running across field and gets his man Ellis Ship into a bit of a quandary on the ground. Dries van Schalkwyk over the ball.
Played after this, not now.
So Willemsen now.
Stay. Over the 15.
Back it goes to Bobby DeVee, but that's a knock-on. Dislodged there with a ball tackle from the Dragons.
Yeah, Landman again.
Didn't have the ball, had your hand. Knock on.
He literally is a homeboy, Landman. Just born down the road, yeah, and dispatched at a coaching clinic during the week as well. Took a few of his Dragons fellas out there and helped out the dispatch first team.
No, that's wonderful to know too, Rob. I mean, that's news to me, but I think that's absolutely brilliant. You know, that players are always happy enough, I would think, to make their contribution to society. Not just entertaining us on the rugby field, but doing their bit as well for the underprivileged and the youngsters in particular.
I see he's lost the nickname Luchtworm since he's gone to Wales.
This is a strong scrum, this from the Kings initially. They've certainly got the Dragons on the back foot. Oh, Jones. Bit of work here for Banda. Another knock on Anthony Fulman on this occasion.
Knock on, Dragons ball.
Can't afford those errors, Gav. Yeah, you've got ascendancy on the scoreboard. In today's game, one try, opposition get their tails up, even particularly when they're away from home with an error like that. And they've got a scrum in a fairly favourable position with a bit of a blind side.
You're absolutely right, Rob. You know, I think if you're under pressure, which he wasn't on that occasion, you know, sometimes it happens. You don't want to, but it is a good field position this for the Dragons. I think there's a few people in the crowd that sense victory, but I don't think the Dragons are done yet. But they do know that they've got to score fairly soon if you look at the clock.
It's where the Southern Kings, they need to dig deep because the last 20 minutes have not been in their favour in the majority of their games.
Can we ask for no pre-engagement from both packs? So it's not going to guess on who it is, but to sort it out.
That's very kind of Quinton Immelman. Can I ask for no early engagement, gentlemen? Well, he's had a quiet time. Well, his pockets have had a quiet time this evening, and so has our TMO, Sean Feltzman.
He's having a holiday.
A free night so far.
Stability.
So Godlin Masimlo with a quick take now. He hasn't still I just love his rugby. He's just plays with so much energy, doesn't he? Just never seems to get tired. Burger. They're running a lot more confidently now, are the Kings. Masimla.
Play on, it's from his foot.
Well, they've coughed up possession. Now can the Dragons make them pay? They've got into a little bit of space, but not enough on-shoulder runners there for an offload. Kirshner. Quick pass out there to Connor Edwards. Dorian Jones's pass, well, it's gone straight off the shoulder, so Bunder's got an easy kick into oodles of space as well. No, Makasa, he's not going to give up his man very easily. Another chance now. I think the Southern Kings love this opportunity of counter running against those kicks downfield. Musimla also done a good job since he's come on as a replacement. Now Klassen. Back inside, over the top. No problem with the pass. Now how about that from Van Schalkwyk? A little grubber kick through. Volmink with the cover. And that's really good play that by the left winger. He's made up for that little knock-on by ensuring that his team has got a line out in favourable territory.
Musimla's been a bit of a live wire since he's come on as well, and a nice touch from Dries Van Schalkwyk. He saw this loads of space. He managed to get in there. Musimla's right up there, and Volmink does well. Gets his man into an awkward position. Advantage to the Kings.
And I think the Kings know too that a 7-pointer now could really put this game beyond doubt.
Time is off. Let's bring 2 on. 2 Kings. Okay, you're being replaced.
We'll see as Willems is down at the moment, just getting some attention. We're going to see Jacques Nel coming onto the field.
Now Stefan Coetzee has already placed Willems, so he's on.
So Coetzee is coming on. Willems might be struggling with a bit of cramp, I think.
63 minutes into the second half, 21 Southern Kings.
Looks like Burton Claessen's also leaving the field.
Yeah, Jacques Nel in his place. Brother of Ruan, who plays for the Blitzbokke. He's had a good evening as well as Burton Claessen, another busy player. So first throw then for Stefan Coetzee. That's not straight. Brilliant effort off the back, Lewis Evans. Slow getting there initially, the Dragons. Connor Edwards done well too. He's kept that ball alive and available. Yes, Max Williams. Desperate for points now are the Dragons. They haven't got a single point yet in the second half. Harrison Keddy. Gabos onto Max Williams again. He's another player with a lot of energy, Max Williams, a great replacement. And the Kings are really starting to have to make a lot more tackles than they made in the first half. And they know that if their defence can hold well here against this onslaught, it might just be a sign of potential victory for them. Standing position there initially, but a man running off the ball importantly. Fairbrother part of the mix then. Babos with the looking to try and open up an opportunity from the scrum half position. Trying to find the right man. Standing position is not always the best thing this close to the line. You need a guy going off at speed. But the Kings have really done well, and here again the ball has popped up loose. Some good work from Bobby DeVee. Now, can they counter here? They've got an extra man, a bit of space for Volmink. He's got past the first man. Well, he's got men on his inside. He's going to look to go on his own. Anthony Volmink. This could just be the nail in the coffin.
Length of the field for the Southern Kings, and Anthony Volmink. Bobby DeVee put in the big hits and then got the turnover. And the presence of mind to get it out wide to the Spitzer. Anthony Volmink. This is a quality counter-attack from the Southern Kings. Again, Coleman getting out wide. Bunders again with the pass. Volmink shows a clean pair of heels around his last man. Back on the inside to get around the last line of defence. Counter-attack from the try line. Try for the Southern Kings.
Oh, Robert, that's the third try they've scored from their 22, and it's shown as well that if you can play with confidence and move the ball into space, and you've got the pace on your side, which they've got, it really just makes for opportunities. It's been a good night with a boot for Kurt Coleman with his 6th kick at goal. 6 successful, all successful. And there's the try scorer, Anthony Volmink.
All started from that turnover from Bobby De Vere, and Volmink, the finisher, doing exactly what his coach Dion David would have asked of him, underneath the power, 7-pointer.
In the meanwhile, Papuma's on for the Kings as well as a replacement. Rob, you spoke a little bit earlier as well about the importance of replacements in this second half, and the Kings management seem to have got it spot on.
The timing of them, I think, has been appropriate, and each of them has made a difference when they've come on.
Now Coleman.
Stop King, 7.
He's kicked that infield. And a chance of a run here, which you've seen very little from Rosser tonight. He's kicked downfield. Which way does this bounce? Oh, it's gone into touch and goal. So it'll be a 22-metre dropout for the Kings, who I'm sure won't be in any hurry to execute this.
Got 3 there, taking the 22.
I think there's a few people that think this game is beyond doubt now, and they might be right.
22. How many call 22?
And Coleman might well go deep here. Pretty much down the middle. Lewis Evans is as captain for the Dragons has played tirelessly tonight. Still they struggle to get their first points in the second half, the Dragons. Kirshner.
Never, counter-ruck was good.
There's again a strong counter-ruck there from the Kings, but unfortunately they're beaten by the whistle.
Gentleman come down, Dragons ball.
You need some decent counter-rucks from the Southern Kings this evening. One's led to a try. Just look at all that possession in favour of the Dragons in the second half, and they just, like the Kings in the first, haven't converted that into points. The majority of that has been through errors.
I think the Dragons might also have hoped for a little bit more possession in the 22 deeper into Kings territory in the second half, which they haven't really had enough of. But I think they'll only be blaming themselves, Rob. They'll be disappointed with the second half. Well, it's a bit presumptuous to say this, but victory can be quite infectious, can't it?
He's got that winning feeling. I'm not quite sure if Dion's going to get him on the field, though.
I just wonder if Villeneuve is struggling a little bit also with a bit of cramp out there. I think that might have been Michael Willem's issue, which forced him to leave the field. Now Connor Edwards just not getting the favourable bounce.
Not the worst idea. You can see Villeneuve was struggling a bit with his cramps, so I went down that right-hand side. But Tini Berger and Godlin Masimla, they were up for it.
And just once again highlights the importance of your full squad of 23 and how you use them during the course of a match. As you say, the Kings of Dion David seems to have got that pretty spot on, bringing on his right players at the right time. Stolen line out by the Dragons. They'll fight to the death. The ball went backwards, so there's no problem with that. As Kirshner's just slung to the deck.
Release Kings!
Some good work there from Stefan Coetzee initially just to stem the tide. Here's Ellis Ship. Dan Babos. He hasn't kicked a lot from the base of the scrum. And this time, well, it's gone backwards. So the Kings have a counter-attacking opportunity, but I think that's the right call there from Coleman. He saw there was space to kick into, chase the Dragons back, force them to try and run at them. Oh, Jones, that's a good return that from the fly half.
Now, no sign of Bernard Jackman in that picture, but I don't think he'll be entirely happy with the manner in which his boys have gone about their business this evening.
I think particularly the second half and a little bit of the end of that first half too. I think they gave up the initiative that they had, Rob.
Yeah, particularly a few of the exits that didn't go into the crowd and went to the hands of Koi Banda. He got that try right at the death. I think that would have made him slightly angry.
He's gone downstairs to get the whip out. So replacement Papuma in with the action. Masimla asking questions of the Dragons' defence. So Bobby DeVee standing off there. I just think the Kings have also won the battle at the breakdown point in the second half, Rob. They've really looked competent there. Good counter-racking. One try coming from that too. Ndisa and Simla. Nsila rather. Good effort there from their lock forward. Favourable bounce there for Bobby DeVee. Now Masimla. Back inside they come. So Ruan Nil taking it down. Coetzee. Tini Berger. This is the territory that the Kings want to play their rugby in the last 10 minutes of the match. And one thing that they've got to make sure that they have the patience that's needed to hold on to possession. Max Williams with that tackle. All the action just round about the rucks and malls at the moment. It's pick up and go. It's a drive. Is the opportunity going to come for a Tini Berger? He'll be pleased to make up for that ball that he lost when he went over the line. Can they find their way through? Coetzee, the long pass, Fulman. He's got it down, I think. No, he hasn't. The assistant referee's got his flag up, but I think they're going to go upstairs.
No, they'll come upstairs. It's a question of timing.
Try and possible foot in touch, please.
Does he get the ball down before? His foot definitely went in touch, there's no question. Does he get the ball down before then? Yeah, I think that's out, Gav.
Yeah, it's now out, I think, yeah. It's just gone out. Because nobody can prove that his foot's on the line, but they can't prove it's in the air there either. I do think it's on the line.
Sean.
Players foot in touch.
Foot in touch.
Yeah. Good early call that from Sean Feldsman.
Try, foot in touch, Dragons ball.
Would have been a brace for that man. Well, the Dragons want to throw caution to the wind, and of course things don't always go in your favour, so it's going to be a scrum to the Kings in a great field position for them.
Say again? No, you guys do it as well, so don't stop moaning. Let's go, Kings.
So, first scrum with the new props. Have a look at that from Bobby DeVee. Absolutely outstanding. Turnover that got Fulminki's try. 18 tackles made in this game. Tremendous effort for the big 5 lock.
We'll have a look at Landman's tackles. 20 of them,
20
for a tight forward. 2 lock forwards making all those tackles.
Raj. Bind. Set.
Now, which way does Masimla go if he takes possession of this ball? Nsila with a pickup and the clean-up. Here's Banda. Similar. That ball's gone backwards, I think, virtually all the way through. But
First infringement, knock on from Dragons.
it's going to be another scrum to the Kings.
Yeah, Peter Scholz off the field and Schalk Ferreira gets
Wait till the ball is in before
just the 4 minutes off this game. And on comes Johan Smith into the loosehead berth. Scrum always a bit under pressure when that front draw of Scholz and Ferreira depart.
Better get your timing right.
Definite weight advantage for the Dragons. But probably difficult to be scoring 3 tries, minimum 3 tries, with just the 4 minutes left. But the young Chargers of Bernard Jackman, they haven't given up in this game. They're still coming out fighting.
Bind. Set. Advantage.
Strong from the Southern Kings, picked up the back. Dries van Schalkwyk. Masimla. Bobby De Beer has snuck over the try line. He plays with his heart on his sleeve, there's no question about that. They saw that in his stats and the effort he's put into this game. And a well-deserved try for the number 5 lock, which pretty much puts the game to bed for the Southern Kings. Strong scrum gets them the momentum forward. De Beer at the back, he just snuffs a little open. Masimla wants it. De Beer says, no, I've got it. Over he goes. Try, Southern Kings, Bobby De Beer. Six tries in this game now for the Southern Kings. And a quality effort from them against the visiting Dragons to post, which will be their first win in the Pro 14 competition. Coleman with a conversion to keep his kicking record intact at 100%. 8 out of 8 this evening for Kurt Coleman. He came on just 10 minutes ago before the Southern Kings scored their first points in the game. Historical victory here in the making. Just a couple of minutes left for them to close out the game.
Play on backwards.
Taken in by Jacques now. Masimla. Verlinlu. Banda, elusive as ever. Seeing the space. And a pin-perfect kick from Koi Banda, keeping the Dragons on the back foot. And once again, Michael Makasa with the chase line. It'll be a very jubilant Southern Kings coaching staff and indeed squad. It's been a 23-man effort this evening. Those reserves, replacements making an impact. Dries van Schalkwyk, Godlin Masimla, and most in particular Kurt Coleman.
Sack is good, ball's in front.
Sack from the Southern Kings. Dragons in need of a scrum half eventually arrives. Eager defence from the Southern Kings, keeping the Dragons at bay. Still the effort, ball out wide. Edwards. Babos. Big tackle coming in. Advantage to the Dragons. It's not going to mean much, as the Southern Kings are going to post their first victory in the Pro 14 competition. Landman, he's been exceptional this evening. And the knock finally comes from the Dragons. And you're going to see the elation on a very wary Southern Kings. Outstanding from them this evening. 6 tries in total, a number of those long distance ones from their own 22. It's been a resolute team effort from the defence to the attack. All 23 been involved. Historic win for the Southern Kings in Pro 14, their first, with 45 points to 13 over the Dragons.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Guinness Man of the Match is Lusuko Benitio, number 12 from the Southern Kings side. The 2018 Guinness Pro 14 final will be held at the Aviva Stadium, Durban, on the 26th of May, on Saturday. Be sure not to miss out on a great weekend in Durban. Back your team now and visit pro14.org to buy your tickets. Guinness is the official responsible drinking partner of the Guinness Pro 14. We hope that you guys enjoyed the game and we wish you a safe journey onwards. The Southern Kings next match, be sure not to miss it on the 24th of March on a Saturday. Keep off at 3 o'clock. Alright, DJ, over to you. And before you pump it up, DJ, be sure guys to stay behind as we will have post-match signages. If you want to get an autograph from your favorite Southern Kings player or Dragons player, stick around and you can also even get a photo. From my side, thank you so much. Mr. Yankee, have a lovely evening, guys. Live long and prosper. DJ, over to you. Cheers, let's give it up for the Southern Kings team and the Dragons one more time. Full-time score, 45 Southern Kings, 13 Dragons. DJ, pump it up in here.
Pro 14 and Conference B, as you see it there, Leinster comfortably ahead with those 13 wins with 62 points. Scarlets in second, also a tough one to crack. And Edinburgh also in that playoff spot in the third position at the moment, with Ulster lagging behind at the moment towards the playoff. Southern Kings get up to the 9 points, still way behind the Dragons, but 4 games left for the Southern Kings in this year's competition. With their first victory tonight, will play it effort for them, but Gavin Carley will be downstairs with the captain and your man of the match.
And a wonderful, exciting match we had here at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. And I guess there were many people who might well have been in line to be the man of the Guinness man of the match this evening. But it goes to Luzuko Valindlu, the centre three-quarter for the Southern Kings, with those two magnificent tries from him. And from Guinness, we've got Yando Sonyika, who's going to hand over his prize. Luzuko, you just come a little bit closer to me there, and just a little bit of a chat about that game. You know, there were some critical points in that game, weren't there? And that lovely channel run for your first try was maybe just an inspiration for your team.
Yeah, man, like I can say, like this game, from the word go from Monday when we came back from overseas, it was a very personal game to everyone, and the coach just wanted us to play our expensive rugby that we played last year in Super Rugby. So he told us we got nothing to lose, let's just express ourselves, and we were just playing for each other out there on the field. So whatever little bit I did to help the team, yeah, but everything, the tries that I scored, everything that the win, everything just belongs to the team and their hard work, because we had our backs against the wall for the last 16 weeks. So we're just working for each other. Whatever comes, comes.
And one of the important things is confidence too, and you never really defended that lead that you had. You kept attacking.
Yeah, because the thing is, for the last 3 weeks overseas, we've been defending, kicking the ball away the whole time. So like I said, like last week, we had a meeting with the coach, all the leaders, and we said that, listen, we got nothing to lose. Let's just run the ball, because we all ball runners. So we'll defend. When we back our defense, let's go back to what we did in Super Rugby last year. And that's what we did. And hopefully we expressed ourselves. And next time we play home ground, we're going to have a bigger crowd here. So that's what we're going for. We're just playing for each other.
Well, brilliant, chap. Congratulations tonight, and good luck with the rest of this competition.
Thank you very much.
I can't shake your hand right now. Off you go, Chappie. We'll ask Lewis Evans, the captain of the Dragons. A disappointing evening, ultimately. And certainly, I think after those first 20, 25 minutes, you must have felt really good about your game this evening.
Yeah, it was just a shame the way we capitulated. I think that try just before half-time was tough to take. And then we came out and we just compounded another error. So, fair play to the Kings. They played really well. It's good attacking rugby. They controlled the game, and they got their rewards for it.
And just improvements that you guys needed. It took a long time in that second half. You know, just no points on the board, and really some reasonable possession. One feels too that you couldn't really convert.
I think that's it. We just couldn't quite convert it. We had reasonable pressure at times. We go multi-phase, and then we just turn the ball over. Like I say, fair credit to the Kings. I thought they played really well. They executed their game plan really well. And every time we put pressure on it, they dealt with it. So some lessons to be learned, some harsh words to be said, and we need to get better.
And a couple of weeks as well, just to get things together again. You got the Cheetahs up next.
Yeah, we got two to kind of rest some bodies. I think we picked up a few injuries there, which is a shame as well, which didn't help our plans. But it's part and parcel of the game. We've got to learn, adapt, and get better.
Well, thanks very much for the entertainment, because it really was an entertaining game. Sadly that you guys lost, and travel safely back home.
Thank you very much.
And the winning captain tonight will hobble across here. I thought he might have had a bit of cramp, but it might be something else. Michael Valipsa.
Hi there, Gav. Just a bit of a knock to the knee. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Okay, well, that's good to know. A wonderful evening tonight, and well led. You know, I think in commentary we often spoke about the captaincy tonight, that you showed a lot of really, really good encouraging stuff in leading the team forward, and it was a very physical match, wasn't it?
No, it was, and credit to Dragons tonight. They really put it up for us, and with a team like this, that's with the desire that they have, it really makes it easy to captain and lead them. So this one, to the whole team, honestly, thank you to them.
And one of the good things is too, which maybe has been a bit of an Achilles heel for you guys at times, is that you actually played incredibly well for 80 minutes and not just maybe 60 or 50 tonight.
Yeah, it was a big focus point for us. Often in the past we lost it in the last 20, and it was as I said, a massive focus point for us, and I'm really stoked we pulled through tonight.
Well, so much happened straight after half-time. I mean, what was the chat in half in the dressing room at half-time?
Yeah, we felt we weren't playing in the right areas at times in the first half, but we had the momentum, and we just said we're going to stamp it down on them and keep playing. I think the whole week we spoke about believing in each other and just keeping on playing, and it seemed like we did it tonight. So I'm very happy for that.
Well, you've done your franchise proud. Next up, you've got Benetton. Next, in fact, at home as well, I think.
Yes, sorry to the fans that it's taken this long for a win, but hopefully we can go 4 from 4 from here on. So hopefully so.
Good luck with the next one.
Thanks very much, Kev. Cheers.